Damn, dude, that's a nice beard.
Hey, thanks.
It's a big deal for me, man.
Yeah, it's taken me like 3 weeks to get it this far. If you look real close, it's still pretty patchy.
I don't know, dude. I like it. You should just be
I like
confident with it.
So you're telling me it just grows in all white trash like that?
Yeah, it does.
Welcome to episode 36 of the Serial Chillers podcast. I am your host, Jesse. Thank you, everybody, for stopping by. Today's episode is about the angel of death, Charles Cullen. I welcome into the studio two returning guests in Casey, or Bigfoot, and Robbie. Robbie's wife told him, don't come home unless he wins. So let's see what he's got today. We're going to talk about that angel of death, Charles Cullen. We're going to have some fun. I've got Kolten across the internet. Co-host Greg joins us from across the internet as usual, but a little late this time. So everybody, please, as usual, sit back, relax, and enjoy episode 36 of the Serial Chillers podcast. Hi. I'm just kidding. Welcome to episode 36 of the Serial Chillers podcast. We're going to get it started here. This shit just got real, and we haven't even got weird yet. Today, in the studio with me, I have should we just start calling him co-host? He's here all the time.
Might as well.
Hey, I told you that I'd get you something.
That's my Bobo out in the woods calling Bigfoot call.
So Bigfoot or Casey is here returning. Hey, dude. Welcome back, as always. We're just gonna try to have him on bi-weekly. So, and sitting to my left, also returning second episode, right?
Part due.
Robbie. Welcome back, my friend.
Happy to be here.
And along with our two guests in studio, I have one across the internet who is not co-host Greg. Welcome, Kolten.
Oh, hello.
So Kolten has actually been on a lost episode of the Serial Chillers podcast. So he's familiar with the experience, but you guys aren't familiar with his voice. So
it's lost in the archives.
That one,
it's like the Blair Witch Hunt of Serial Chiller podcasts, and then one day you're gonna find it and you're gonna make a whole documentary.
And then you're like, the last thing you're gonna see of me is my nose in the corner.
Yeah.
Yes. So
I'm excited to be on.
Welcome back, Kolten. Welcome back, Casey. Welcome back, Robbie. You guys know how the show works, but let me explain it for anyone that doesn't. Each week I sit down with old friends, new friends, good friends, and bad friends to tell the story of an infamous serial killer. Throughout the show, you guys will chime in on my story and have stories of your own if you brought them that are true crime, dark, creepy, unsolved, or otherwise mysterious. Lastly, if you have questions about the questions, make sure to ask questions, because I cannot answer questions about questions if you never asked questions. Do we have any questions?
Nope.
No, sir.
Then welcome to and let's play the Serial Chillers podcast. Yes. Today's serial killer, you guys, angel of death, Charles Cullen.
Never heard.
All right. So this is the second time I'll be bringing you an angel of death. And for those that aren't familiar, that is someone in the healthcare profession who has taken upon themselves to remove some individuals from the planet. Charles Cullen. I was fairly unaware of his antics until this. So I got to dig in on someone that I had really only heard the name of. Question number 1. In what year was Charles Cullen born? Closest to the answer is going to get 250 points. Once these guys got it, Kolten, I'll just have you give yours vocally.
Okay.
All right, Casey, let's see what you got.
I went with 1972.
1972. 32 from Robbie.
I will say 55.
I should have got your answer before I read theirs, but 55. What was yours again?
1972.
1932.
Kolten's getting 250 points because Charles Cullen was born in West Orange, New Jersey, February 22nd, 1920.
Oh.
60. Sorry, February 22nd,
I was gonna say,
1960.
whoa.
Shouldn't that be my points?
No,
I was only
Hey.
5 years off.
Yeah, come on. Yeah, it's 1960. There's just so many twos. I wanted it to keep being twos. I think is what just happened there. Colton's gonna take a 250 to 0-0 lead. I think I have.
Embarrassing, guys.
I think I have 10 questions total for you guys today. So,
I know you have Wikipedia pulled up over there, bro.
No, I should. though.
We're on the honor system with Colton, okay?
yeah. Don't be cheating.
Thank you for, thank you for that idea.
So, Charles Cullen is born February 22nd, 1960 in West Orange, New Jersey. He is the last of 8 children, including 5 sisters and 2 brothers. September of 1960, at 7 months old, his father dies at the age of 56. It said natural causes. I'm guessing a heart issue or something like that. Just a guess. 56 seems young for natural causes. But nonetheless, at 7 months old, he loses his father. In 1969, at the age of 9, he attempts suicide for the first time. He has this chemistry set that he got for Christmas, and he mixes a bunch of things that he thinks will kill him, and he drinks them. So at 9,
at what age?
At 9.
At
1969, at 9 years old. Fuck, dude, I don't know that I knew, like, really, like, what death was. And, like, I mean, probably at
not.
9, but, like, I don't know.
Not like enough to want.
Or to
want it.
even know that people did that. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? At 9, I was like, oh, people fucking kill themselves?
I was
What
watching Ren and
idiots,
Stimpy
dude.
at
You know how
9.
much candy there is
Yeah,
in the
man.
world?
Power Rangers before school.
Yeah, for sure. So his first attempted suicide is from a mix from his chemistry set at the age of 9. And he obviously he lived.
It was
He-
like
was
vinegar and baking soda.
He's like, please take me away. He's just foaming at the mouth.
Food coloring.
So in 1971, he's 11 years old and in the 5th grade. He is teased at school just apparently nonstop. And this is by his own account. But in seeing interviews of him, I can see how children would pick on somebody with his demeanor. He's very like head down, looks at you with eyes up. So you're really only seeing part of his face. Most of the time he kind of wears his hair a little bit. And he just sort of talks like, yes, it's very matter of fact, but it's very... this is as much effort as I'd like to approach at this, and here's who I am, Charles Cullen. So
And he has a chemistry set at
yeah,
9,
yeah, for
so-
sure. So I can see, why children would pick on a kid with a demeanor like this. Not that I condone it, but it's I was a kid. Yeah, exactly. So also in the 5th grade, at the age of 11, he wrote a book with one of his only friends. Question number 2. What was the title of the book that he wrote in 5th grade? Is it A, The Book That Will Tell You How to Never Grow Up? B, Infinity Years We'll Never Know About Growing Up in a World in Which Life Was Meaningless? C, Girls and Boys Are the Only Construct Put Together, Girls and Boys Are Only a Construct Put Together by a World Where They Were Never Meant to Succeed? Or D, Charles' Book?
I like that one.
Yeah.
You guys want them again?
Yeah, one more time.
A is The Book That Will Tell You How to Never Grow Up. B is Infinity Years We'll Never Know About Growing Up in a World in Which Life Was Meaningless. C, Girls and Boys Are a Construct Put Together by a World Where They Were Never Meant to Succeed. Charles' Book.
That one's just my favorite. I'm going with Charles.
Robbie, you got, all right, Colton, what do you got?
I want to say Charles, but
Okay, so is that 2 for Charles' Book? Robbie says B, Infinity Years We'll Never Know About Growing Up in a World in Which Life Was Meaningless. In the 5th grade, Charles Cullen and one of his only friends wrote a book entitled Infinity Years We'll Never Know About Growing Up a World in Which Life Was Meaningless. Robbie, 250 points.
slow hand clap.
The comedic factor got me. That was my first instinct, and I was like, nah, I just want to go with Charles' Book. Even if it's wrong, I need to,
This
I need
is
to give
the
Jesse
answer I
credit for
need to
this.
do.
Fucking weirdo.
Charles' book was blinding.
It was easy to write book titles that sounded similar to that because it was such garbage that I was like, oh, this is right at my level. So
Tricked us.
after 2 questions, Colton and Robbie are tied at 250. Bigfoot, the seasoned vet.
Dang.
just behind. So after he writes Infinity Years, we'll never know about growing up in a world in which life was meaningless. From the years of 75 through 76 and the ages of 15 and 16, he is fascinated by the works of Dostoevsky.
Real quick, was there anything about the book like that was in the book, like what it was about, or any
Almost
anything?
Bro, the title
literally,
says
the
it all.
title was all
Was
I
it?
can find.
Okay,
I was
okay.
hoping to find like scanned in,
Yeah.
like yes. And
Excerpts
after he
and
went to
things.
prison, we put his book online for everyone to see.
Infinity Years.
We'll never know about growing up in a world in which life was meaningless.
Sorry, I had to ask the question.
No, yeah, no, I understand. And he stays fascinated with literature because he's a Dostoevsky fan. He's a big fan of Crime and Punishment, which, look, I'll be honest. I knew of Crime and Punishment. I did not know what was going on inside. But whenever I come across literature like this, I always like to at least, try to get a little bit of it so I don't sound completely stupid. And I'm just going to throw a free plug out there for this guy because I don't know if he needs it or not. But I found a YouTube channel called Thug Notes where the baddest motherfucker I ever seen breaks down books and pieces of literature. And it was so well put together, but he was just hood the whole time. So
I think I have
Thug
seen
Notes?
that.
yeah, it's called Thug
on
Notes
YouTube.
Yep. So and like some of the scenes, you could tell he like delivered it too well. So at the end, he'd be like, "You heard?"
Sounds right up my alley.
It's so good. So if you ever want to know about a piece of literature, check out Thug Notes. I don't know how many episodes he's got. I watched that. I think it's 4 or 5 minutes long, but I feel like I know Crime and Punishment pretty well now. So it's essentially a book about a man who kills a woman and another woman. The other woman was unexpected to the scene. It kind of makes sense to his life. This is why I wanted to tell this to you, because once I figured this out and then went into the story, I was like, I need to talk a little bit more about that. So essentially, this detective is onto him early, and he's not going to give in. And the detective doesn't have any real proof, but he knows it's him in his heart of hearts. So the murderer, goes to this woman he loves, and she tells him, like, you must ask God for forgiveness, and you have to turn yourself in. So he goes to like this most holy spot in their city, and he kisses the ground, and then he goes and turns himself in, and it's Oroshin, obviously. So he goes and does like hard work in the Siberian wilderness. But like at the end of the book is like he's absolved, like he feels free because like the only true resolution to what he did was his punishment. Like there was no benefit to be had for him being out there. So it's very socialist Russia. But there's, Thug Notes will give you all the allegories and the things in it that I still don't understand. But I just thought it was, and you guys will see it's almost a tiny bit of foreshadowing of his life. He almost seemed to live by Crime and Punishment. So
You heard?
I don't get into literature much. That's because I'm not smart, and I don't want to sound even not as smart as I'm not smart.
SMRT.
I mean, SMART. So he's into Dostoevsky. He's into Crime and Punishment. About a year later, his mother is killed in a car accident. So he's 17, and there's no one now that can tell him he doesn't know loss. He's lost his mom and his dad before he's technically even an adult. Although, we'll move on. In 1978, at 18, he's still in high school, which you can be, obviously. It's late in high school, and the bullying is getting worse. He decides towards the end of his senior year that he's gonna fight back. He's gonna get a little revenge. So he goes to one of the bigger parties and laces the drinks with rat poison.
Tits.
Oh.
Yes. No one dies, but a lot of people are very sick.
Bleeding
going
from
ham.
the inside.
Yeah. It was not a school event, so he wasn't expelled from school. But just a few months later, he drops out of school. I'm guessing because he got bullied hella hard for trying to poison everybody. He
was
drops
shitting
out of
blood
school.
for weeks.
Charles Cullen, you piece of fuck. So he drops out of high school and enlists in question number 3. Which branch of the military?
Seems to be a frequent question.
Yeah.
Serial killers do love the military.
They sure do.
They get a lot of training.
They do. So you guys write your answers down. I'll get Colton's aloud. Colton says the Navy. Robbie says the Army. Casey thinks he's one of the elite and heads to the Marines. Colton gets 250 points because Charles Cullen joined the Navy in 1978 at the age of 18.
I should have known he was smart when he had that chemistry set at the age of 9.
So Kolten is going to take a 500 to 250 to 0. Womp, womp, womp.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, thank you. April, I need to throw that one on the soundboard. April of 1978 to June of 79, from 18 to 19. Charles Cullen receives training in becoming a ballistic missiles technician in the Navy. So it sounds like that's probably not a job they give the fuck-offs. You know what I mean? Like, that sounds like he's got a pretty serious job. In July of 79, he's given his first assignment aboard a nuclear submarine, the USS Woodrow Wilson. In July of 79, he is deployed into the submarine and considered a misfit by his crew members. He is taunted, constantly made fun of, and hazed. He is given the nickname Fish Belly. I could not find an explanation. You know what's funny is I spent more time into trying to find out why they called him Fish Belly than looking into Dostoevsky. So
He had a little bit of a pudgy, very white stomach.
all right, well,
Kind of scaly.
Yeah, a little bit scaly.
Scaly.
I'm gonna go with that. So, but I think a pattern is forming because he and perhaps plays it a little bit, is the victim constantly. Some of it's been real. His parents are dead. He's kind of got his ass kicked and beat down and bullied through high school. Now he's doing that throughout the Navy. He's down in a submarine, an inescapable metal tube underwater. And they're like, "Hey, Fish Belly, fucking clean the floors with the toothbrush, you bitch." So in 1980, he's now 20 years old. He's discovered sitting in a stolen hospital gown and mask and gloves at the missile control panel. Yeah.
Just wandering.
He was chilling. He was like
Just
in a
chilling,
gown,
yeah.
gloves, and a mask, sitting at the control panel, pushing buttons. They found him, and the incident was reported. October 30th, 1981. He is now 21 years old. He is reassigned to a different submarine,
Shocking.
the USS Canopus. On March 30th, 1984, he is issued a discharge from the Navy. Records are not public whether the discharge was for medical or psychological reasons, but later I found out at least several documentaries cite it as a medical. So it was an honorable discharge. He left with honors. In May of 84, he enrolls in Mountainside Hospital's School of Nursing in Montclair, New Jersey. Now, with this, when they sent him out on his honorable discharge, I guess regardless of whether you leave for psychological issues or not, you meet with a psychologist on your way out of the Army or the Navy. I'm sure all armed services. So the psychologist tells him, like, you need to find something, and it's got to be different than this. This doesn't suit you. That's why, you're whatever. Think of something in the medical field. Like, you're very technical, and he kind of took his strengths and gave him some ideas. So he went and he applied to Mountainside Hospital School of Nursing in Montclair, New Jersey. And he gets in. He gets through school. And right before he's to graduate in March of 87, he's going to graduate in May. In March, his brother James dies of a drug overdose. So he's now lost he's got 7 siblings, but he's got 6 and no parents. He's losing people at a pretty consistent rate because he's 27. I mean, it's not an insane rate at which he's losing people, but at 27, he no longer has a sibling or parents, and that's young. So that happens in March. In May of 87, he graduates from nursing school. On June 7th, 1987, he marries computer programmer Adrian Taub. No idea where they met. Nursing school is my guess. And same thing. There's some serial killers. It's insane to me where there's just this perfect timeline. Like I can be like, where was Ted Bundy on February 2nd, 1964? And they're like, in 64, he was in the 11th grade and in Miss Marcus's class at 4 p.m. You know what I mean? Like, Charles Cullen is very unknown because of the Angel of Death moniker. He's not your traditional go out and, Son of Sam, drop to a knee with your snub nose and shoot some fools in the parking lot. It's not, I hate to use the word, but it's not the glorified serial killer, the healthcare professional turned rogue.
He's not your run of the mill.
Right. people want the fucking violence. They want the blood. But I think these stories to me are almost more angering, and I think you've probably heard me say it, is because like so much trust is being put into these people.
Right.
I mean, you have a respect for strangers, and maybe not necessarily a trust, but a stranger is sure. Why wouldn't they, take advantage of a situation or not treat you correctly? Who the fuck are you? But this is someone that you've been like, take care of me. I trust you. And so for whatever reason, I feel like they're necessary to cover. It may not be the blood and the guts and the, overstated story, but it's fucked. It's very fucked. So fucking triggered, you guys.
Trigger warning.
So, he's married to Adrienne Taub. 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 It's Taub to me. In June of 1987, Taub. He starts working at the burn unit of St. Barnabas Medical Center in Livingston, New Jersey. 1988, he's 28, and his first daughter is born from Adrienne. June 11th, 1988, he's 28 years old, and he gets his first kill. 72-year-old Judge John Yango. John Yango was apparently a badass judge. I want to say they called him like Bulldog John or something like that. Like he was known for handing out really stiff sentences and kind of creative ones too. So anyways, Yango, 72 years old, he came in with a really bad sunburn, and he would not leave alive. So he was, it was
sunburn.
It was bad enough that he was in a burn unit, I think he fell asleep outside or something preposterous, and he got second and third degree burns from the sun. Charles Cullen would use a large overdose of lidocaine to kill him. So that's going to be the MO. It's going to be injected drugs throughout. They're going to be of different nature. I don't think anybody, from what I can discern, suffered. It wasn't like he was putting cyanide in them, but I don't know. It's still rough. Question number 4. That's Charles Cullen's first kill. How many will he claim to have by the time it's said and done? 250 points to the winner. 500 if you nail it.
Ooh.
Shit.
How many will he claim to have taken by the time it's said and done? Is that it?
Yeah, that's it.
Robbie says, oh, sorry. Colton, what do you got?
I'm going to say 75.
Yeah, Colton says 75. Casey says 17. And Robbie says 13. Casey's going to get on the board.
Finally.
Charles Colton, and it's for 250. He didn't nail it.
Colton just left. He's gone.
Damn,
Casey
bro.
got the question
salty?
right. Colton's gone.
Salty, bro?
So Colton gets his first kill, and by the time it's said and done, he's going to have claimed to have had 40 kills. So, Casey on the board.
I was going to go single digits.
I think I've seen a picture of this dude before.
You probably have.
Does he have shaggy, dark hair,
Dark
almost
gray?
Black? Yeah.
Yeah.
He got, a little bit of a
Mustache
stubbly
thing.
goatee
Yeah,
type
there was a
thing
60 Minutes where they interviewed him in prison.
That's crazy. I didn't know you could die from lidocaine.
I guess there's a lot of things you could die from if they just fucking put a bunch of it in you. Because
You can go to the liquor store right now and get that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'll rub it on every time I get a sunburn. So,
Damn.
in 1989, he receives numerous speeding tickets and starts drinking heavily. He's lost people in his life, and now he is killed, and he's become very self-destructive. This doesn't end. I don't really mention it too much anymore, but this kind of becomes his life. He's a fucking bloody alcoholic. However, he is the utmost professional of nurses throughout his entire career.
Other than the fact that he kills people.
Correct. And that was the
That
thing.
doesn't make him unprofessional, Casey.
Well, that's what I'm saying is that the nurses were talking about hey, he was one of the best nurses that they had ever worked with, and it was, they were shocked to know or to understand or to find out that had happened. But, for all intents and purposes, besides the people he murdered, he was a really, really great nurse. The problem, too, wasn't just with Cullen, you'll find out, is that a hospital will get a bad rap if they have someone they think is killing someone. So it's much easier to take it and sort of say, you gotta go, and we'll kind of end it amicably or whatever. And so I believe at one point he leaves the hospital, and they kind of had their suspicions, and they said, resign now and we'll give you neutral references. So it just shows you, the red tape sometimes gets in the way of even saving lives for the healthcare professionals. And I don't mean to shit on them, but it just, in this situation for sure, it definitely happens. So, yes, self-destructive. From December of 1990 to February of 91, he is psychologically and physically abusing his family, especially during the wintertime in New Jersey, where he will completely turn the heat off and lock them into rooms. He starts torturing the family's 2 pet dogs. Out of left field, question number 5. What type of dogs did he have?
Oh, snap.
What type of dogs? All right.
It's a game show. I can ask whatever kind of question I want.
That's real.
Fuck you. These are my questions.
Yep.
Yeah. And it's your game show.
Okay. Is anybody going to get the 500 points?
Oh, snap. Not multiple.
Because there's no multiple choice.
Are they the same?
They are the same type of dog. 2 dogs, same type of dog. It's not some like Labradoodle. It's one dog, and it's not some weird mix. It's a dog that you've heard of. Be specific, please. If it's a type of shepherd, I want to know what type of shepherd.
Well, there you go.
What do you got there, Kolten?
I will say a German Shepherd.
German Shepherd for Kolten.
I have Shih Tzu.
Shih Tzu by Casey, and you said German Shepherd as well,
German
right,
Shepherd
Robbie?
as
Well,
well.
no one's getting points. Casey was definitely the closest, if we had to guess, because he is just torturing his Yorkshire Terriers. He often places them into trash bins and leaves them outside for extended periods of time in the New Jersey winter.
Place them in trash bins. Like,
He puts them in from what I understand, they were aluminum trash cans, and he would just put them both in the bottom of them and like put these dogs outside for 12 hours in the New Jersey winter.
Sounds cozy.
Yeah, I don't think that it was cozy. I don't think that it was cozy in that. I'm sure there was other ways that he tortured these Yorkshire Terriers. I didn't care to do much research beyond
at first
that.
I thought, like, oh, maybe he just put them in an empty trash bin as like a haha, you're down there and you can't get out.
I think he was like, you fucking die out here and freeze, you little fucking pieces of shit. You gonna shit on my carpet again? You little motherfuckers, I'll fucking show you about shitting on the fucking carpet.
Wow, you just channeled him perfectly.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Thank you.
You have a real disdain for Yorkies, don't you?
I seen him.
Most small dogs. Just kidding. I like all dogs. January 1992, he is fired from the St. Barnabas Bird Unit. So this is one where I don't know if they had suspicions, and I didn't see a lot about it. But I think he's a self-destructive alcoholic, and I think it became to be apparent. February, the next month, he begins working in the coronary unit at Warren Hospital in Phillipsburg, New Jersey. It took him 1 month. That's it. He's good. Back on his feet. Charles Cullen, the American Dream.
Those neutral references.
Right. On January 11th, 1993, his wife files domestic violence complaint and requests a restraining order that is denied by the judge. On January 15th, 4 days later, she files for divorce. On January 22nd, 1 week after that, he is served with his divorce papers. And 3 days later, Adrienne files another domestic violence complaint and requests a temporary restraining order because she feels that Charles's access to medications could put her and her daughters at risk. This one is granted.
I'm gonna say that first judge probably feels like such a piece of shit.
Yeah, he's
now.
like, God damn it. All right, son of a bitch.
Ooh,
Woo.
Nice.
sounds so fresh.
Okay. So, January 31st, just a week after the restraining order is granted, he attempts suicide and is sent to the behavioral health unit at Muhlenberg Regional Medical Center in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. Just fucking do it already. February 5th, 1993, he's released and goes home. On March 9th, 1993, he's now 33 years old and kills Lucy Muscavero, who was 90 years old, at the Warren Hospital in which he worked. He kills her with digoxin. They call it Dig. And apparently this is the drug he's going to kill most of the people with. And the reason is because at the time, digoxin or Dig was in the way you got your drugs was you typed in the code for the drug you wanted, and the drawer opened up, and there were several different drugs within the drawer, and you, I guess technically on the honor system within that drawer, pulled the drugs that you said you were taking out. Well, acetaminophen was in the same drawer as Dig. So Charles Cullen learned this very quickly and took advantage of that. So he kills her with Dig. Dig is like a heart medication that's used to like control the heartbeat or slow it down for people with irregular heartbeats. In small doses, that's all it does, and it's a great medicine. In full doses, it can just plain stop the heart. Or in huge doses, I should say. Yeah. Slow it down to where you can not even see it pumping anymore. On March 23rd, 1993, he's arrested for breaking into the home of Michelle Tomlinson, a co-working nurse. He's a creep. He's 100% a creep. He's a creep. April 16th, 1993, his wife applies for and is granted a full-time restraining order, and he has no visitation rights with his children. Question number 6. What is his reaction to this? Does he try to kill her? Try to kill himself? Try to kill the kids? Or tries to kill the dogs?
Ooh.
Damn.
See, I fucking asked what kind of dogs he has and asked some baller-ass question next. What's up with it? Colin, what do you got up there? Does he try to kill her, try to kill himself, try to kill the kids, or try to kill the dogs?
I'm just going to say her.
Robbie says tries to kill himself, as does Casey. And both of those dudes are going to score because Charles, once again, attempts and fucking fails suicide. He is sent to the Carrier Clinic at Belle Meade, New Jersey. Yes, he does suck. Whoa. So the aggression starting. Kolten and Robbie tied at 250. Oh, no. 250, 500 points. Casey, no, it's a three-way tie. Yeah, I forgot you got that last one right.
I like how he's so successful at killing others, but he can't even kill himself.
They are cries for help because if he knows the amount of dose of Dig that it takes to kill somebody,
he's just being a little bitch.
Colin, quit being a little bitch. So, yes, he tries to do it. Yes. Just do it. He tries to kill himself after he's no longer going to see his kids. This is in April. In July 23rd, he kills Mary Natoli, who was 85, also with Dig. On August 10th, 1993.
Whenever you say that, I think of a didgeridoo. I just think of Australia all the time. Oh, I got to play the Dig.
On August 10th, 1993.
Didgeridoo impression.
Thank you.
You got some good impressions tonight.
Thank you. I just feel good, guys. It's the 8 sips of 10.9% I've had. So on most of these cases that I'm going to give you, I think I cover all 40 that he's technically been like connected with, that he said that he's done, without exhuming the bodies. And even then, there's a chance that they could.
Probably gone by then,
right? Yeah. So they can only assume and take his confession, but he's So what I did was all the ones that he said, yes, that's me. That is what you guys are going to hear from. So at one point, I'm just going to start listing off moitas. So what we're going to do right now, take a quick little break. We're going to go get co-host Greg. We're going to come back. And what are we going to do, Robbie?
Come back or I'll kill you.
There we go. So take a little break and we'll come back. Okay, so welcome back, everybody, to episode 36 of the Serial Chillers podcast. Back in the studio, Casey and Robbie. Across the internet is Kolten, like from the beginning, but joining us mid-show, a little late, a little tardy, but he always has been. Co-host Greg. Hey, man.
Did you just call him a little tardy?
Maybe.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's not politically correct. You can't say that.
I just said tardy. Like, you're always late. That's all. Come on.
Yeah,
you guys
you're
reading so much into it,
that.
man.
Okay.
Come on.
Definitely not late because I definitely wasn't watching X-Files while I was folding clothes.
Well, how goes it, co-host Greg? X-Files and
I'm
folding
alright.
clothes. You're good.
Yeah, I was gonna say I know that's a lie because he's a man.
He's
He
got
doesn't
some nice
fold
ass
clothes.
facial hair. It's going pretty good.
He does have some nice
See-
ass facial hair.
Wait, is it ass facial hair or nice ass facial hair?
Here's the problem: is I got to
You know
touch
what
it
is,
to tell you
Greg.
the difference.
You know what it is.
Punctuation is key.
Yes. So, Greg, you won't know much about what's going on because you're coming into this mid-story, and I didn't send you an outline. But Charles Cullen, an angel of death, he is a nurse that is just out here killing motherfuckers.
Big old bag of fuck.
That's cool. I know all about him.
Do you?
You.
Wow.
For the sake of this
cousin, right?
podcast,
Well, that's good. It's good. I'm glad you could lie for us.
what was that last name again? Cohen? I want to make sure it's the guy I thought it was.
Cullen. Cullen.
Oh, Cullen. Oh, yeah, no, yeah.
So, if you guys remember, he tried to kill himself after his wife got the rights to I shouldn't say the rights, the custody of the children.
The rights. I copyrighted those little motherfuckers. They're mine.
She got her patent in first.
She
So.
threw the patent office.
So Charles attempted suicide, sent to the Carrier Clinic in Belmead, New Jersey. On July 23rd of 93, he kills Mary Natalie, who was 85, with Didge. In August 10th of 1993, he's now 33 years old, and he pleads guilty to trespassing and harassment of Michelle Tomlinson for the break-in 5 months earlier. On August 11th, 1993, he attempts suicide again.
Oh.
Greg, since you're joining us late, I believe this is his fourth or fifth.
Fourth or fifth.
He's not very good at it.
Yeah.
It sounds like it. I mean,
Right. Well, it's
how can you be a successful serial killer if you can't even kill yourself?
Well, it's essentially like this. Every time there's some distress to his life in whatever way, shape, or form, he just tries to kill himself or pretends to try to kill. I'm not quite sure. I don't want to take I don't want to make suicide seem light and get some bad reviews over it. But it's all he's doing. He's very clearly been able to kill people with a calculated dose of certain medicines. His first kill was with overdose of lidocaine. So he knows how to kill someone. He can do it to himself very quickly, and he's tried 4 times. One was at 9 years old, but he's tried 4 times and not been successful. So
He's efficient everywhere else in his life.
right. So he attempts that suicide, and then 2 weeks after that, kills Helen Dean, who is 91, at the Warren Hospital. With
She was
Didge.
on her way out anyway.
Yes.
Well, I was going to say,
Let's put it out of her misery.
Yeah.
So
That's what we call euthanasia.
not like he killed a mid-30s
So
bodybuilder or something.
even
Hospice.
though she was 91, Helen Dean had an investigation launched into her death. Question number 7 is sponsored by James Charles Boylan. Find him on Instagram. Charles Cullen takes a polygraph test during this investigation. True or false? Did he pass this polygraph test? What you got, Colton?
It's up to me first. I'm going to say yes.
Colton says true. He passed this polygraph test. Robbie says truth. Hella true, says
Hashtag hella true.
Casey. Everybody gets 250 points. Yeah, maybe it was a little bit of a gimme, but I thought I might catch someone off guard in the middle. So you guys have all got 750 points. Casey on a 3-question streak. Ooh, be afraid. 750 for everybody. All right, so Robbie's got a little short story for us here, and I wanted to make sure he gets to tell us. It's an experience, you say? So I'm going to give you the floor here, Robbie.
Well, thank
Take
you,
it
thank
away.
So it's a pretty quick story. I was probably 15, 16 at the time, and my cousin had a friend who was dating a guy, and can we say names? Are we saying names? We're not saying names.
That's up to you.
Dude, we say names.
The guy's name was Mike. We'll just say his name was Mike, and he was always a little strange. And he was dating a girl. Her name was, I believe it was Kim, and my cousin was friends with Kim. So we go over with Kim to her boyfriend's house. Before we go, my cousin warns me that Mike's house is a little weird, is a little strange, and me myself, I don't like that kind of stuff at all. I choose to stay away from paranormal, from ghosts, just the
Not
dark.
a fan of being afraid.
Not a fan at all.
Cool.
So we go into the house.
Duly noted.
Yeah. We go into the house and immediately there's just this weird vibe. We walk in there and there's a living room and we go down the hallway and immediately Mike opens the bathroom door, like shoves it open and just yells, no, stay in there. And I'm like, what the fuck? Immediately we walk into the bedroom and he had pictures of crucifix kind of just everywhere in the room. And
Crucify.
Crucifix. Anytime he would draw
In the
one,
plural.
anytime he would draw a crucify, it would somehow get like defaced. Coffee would get spilled on it, water ripped somehow, not of his doing. So there was some sort of evil spirit in this house, and I'm like, bro, we gotta go. Like I don't
Fuck this.
You know I don't like this. We have to go. So we're there all of maybe 5-10 minutes. And we're walking out of the house, and it was winter because I remember it being cold, but it was not windy at all. I open the door. I'm the one that opens the door, and a gust of wind kicks up. And to this day, I swear I hear somebody say, "Hey," behind me, and that's right when the wind kicks up. And I'm like, I immediately turn and I close the door. I'm like, we got to get out of here because I'm not trying to be part of this at all. We leave, and all of a sudden, my cousin he's feeling weird. Like he's like, it's dark outside. Like it's dark. And he's like, it's very bright for me outside. I don't know what's going on. And I'm like, get the hell away from me. I don't want to be anywhere near this. And
He's got the demons inside.
Yeah. And so to this day, I remember every detail to that story because it freaked me the hell out. And I don't want anything to do with that kind of stuff at all. Yeah, basically. No.
Tom Cruise, use your witchcraft on me to keep the ghosts away from me. Yeah, that's awesome. I love a
short little
I
story.
love a little ghost story.
Yeah.
So,
I talk a big game when it comes to ghosts and shit. Like I'm not scared of ghosts. I'm not scared of that kind of stuff. But at the same time, I for sure won't leave my microphone recording in an empty room overnight because I'm afraid of what I might find the next day.
Exactly.
Like 100%. I'm not scared, but when I flip the lights off at night, I speed walk down the hall.
Yeah.
It's like Schrodinger's
do you
cat,
go
man.
full running?
I didn't hear it. Didn't happen.
exactly.
Do you ever go full running down the hallway and flick the light as you're running by? Is that when you're already full speed?
Pro move,
don't.
Greg. But now you do.
How long is your hallway that you can run fully through it?
Yeah,
Bro,
I got hardwood. I wear
it's long
socks,
enough.
so-
It's long enough.
I mean, like maybe 2 steps and you're out.
and I'm in my room, the door's closed.
You got those long legs, bro. All right. So, yes, indeed, Charles Cullen passed his polygraph test. Sorry. You know what, Robbie? Good story, bro. Yeah, good story.
Thank you.
BT dub.
Thank you.
Good job, buddy.
So back to
Thank you.
Charles Cullen's just really fucked up ass. All right, so he passes his polygraph test after the investigation into Dean's death. December 1st of 1993, he quits the job at Warren Hospital. This one wasn't one that I found that they made him quit. I think he didn't like it, and they were a little tighter on their restrictions as far as how the
Can't
drugs
just get
were
Didge whenever
dealt.
you
I
want, bro.
Can't just get hooked up on that Didge.
I'm about to go on Open Bazaar and try to buy some Didge with my Bitcoin.
On December 7th.
Why it's not worth anything anymore.
On December 7th, 1993, the divorce from Adrian is finalized. Adrian is awarded custody, and Charles is granted unsupervised visitation with the children. So he gets to take them every now and again. In April of 1994, he's now 34 years old. He begins working at Hunterdon Medical Center in ICU in Flemington, New Jersey. So he's in the intensive care unit.
It's the best place to put him.
Is it? In June 1994, he receives his Pennsylvania nursing license. In October of 94, he receives an award for diligence and hard work from his colleagues. He starts dating a married nurse at Hunterdon. January 21st, 1996, he kills Leroy Sin with Didge. On May 31st, 1996, he kills Earl Young, who was 75 with Didge. Sorry, Leroy Sin was 71.
These
Earl
are
Young
all the
is
people
75
that are
with Didge.
responsible for him receiving his award by his coworkers, right?
Yeah, these are the dead people. On June 9th.
You know what? He worked a lot of overtime. Yeah, there was a lot of deaths on his shifts.
But like we didn't have to be here, so
yeah.
So on June 9th, 1996, he kills Catherine Dext, who was 49, with Didge. June 24th, 1996, he kills Frank Mazzacco, who was 65, also with Didge. July 10th, 1996, he kills Jesse Eichlin, who's 81, with Didge. October of 96, his married girlfriend finally dumps him, and he quits his job at Hunterdon. He didn't want to work there with her anymore. He couldn't take it.
Fuck that bitch.
In November of 1996, he starts working at Morristown Memorial Hospital in Morristown, New Jersey. Question number 8. How long in months will he keep this job? 250 points to the closest, 500 if you nail it.
Where's
How
he at?
long in months will he keep this job?
And what job is it? Where is he at?
He is at Morristown Memorial Hospital in Morristown, New Jersey. Back in his home state. He coming from Pennsylvania. How long in months will he keep this job? 250 to the closest, 500 if you nail it. Kolten, what do you got?
I'll say 3.
Kolten says he keeps the job for 3 months.
It's a 5.
Robbie says 5. 14 for Casey. And Robbie is going to get 250 points because Charles Cullen keeps this job for 9 months. Robbie is going to take his first lead of the game. And now he is on a 3-question streak and is up 1,000 to 750 to 750.
1,000?
There are 2 questions left, I believe. Let me just double check here, boys, because we get into a lot of murders right now. Oh, yeah.
What happened to that autistic challenge, though?
No autistic challenge.
No, thank
I
you.
showed up late.
Thank you. Because I definitely.
keep those.
Hey, I lost to Nate, man. Anybody can win.
I don't know
the
how do
autistic
you
challenge.
lose?
Because Nate had really
Stick figure
good
blowjobs.
Stick figure blowjobs.
But Casey's like the best artist I've ever met.
Well, I recognized the blowjob though. That was the problem.
Yeah, even me and Jesse didn't see it.
Yeah.
Like
Greg
looking
saw
at
it
up
over
close.
that camera.
Well, Greg knows a blowjob when he sees one, apparently.
Okay, so Robbie's got the lead, you guys. Hang on tight. We're going to have a close one. We're kind of going to go down a list here, to be honest. August 1997, he's fired from Morristown Memorial Hospital for poor job performance. February of 98, he's hired by Liberty Nursing Home and Rehabilitation Center in Allentown, Pennsylvania. On May 13th, 1998, Cullen declares bankruptcy. On October 1st of 98, he is fired from Liberty after accidentally breaking a patient's arm. So apparently he was helping to
Is that in
move
quotes?
a patient, and he accidentally broke a patient's arm and was let go from the facility
swear I
after the
didn't do that.
altercation.
I swear I was just helping him onto the bed.
Really hard,
I
though.
was just practicing my
doing it hard.
karate. I was gonna have a show breaking bricks real soon.
Grab my arm. The other arm. My other arm.
So he starts working part-time at Easton Hospital in the ICU in Easton, Pennsylvania after he's fired from the nursing home. In December of 98, he starts working as a night nurse in a burn unit of Lehigh Valley Hospital in Salisbury Township, New Jersey. Later that month, he kills Ottomar Schramm, who was 78, with a Didge overdose. August 31st, he kills Matthew Mattern, who was 22, and he also does this with digoxin. January 3rd, 2000, he attempts suicide again in his garage via carbon monoxide poisoning.
Oh my gosh.
He's sent to Warren County Crisis Center and unfortunately survives. On February 21st of 2000, I just read that.
Or
in
fortunately, if you're trying to get a insurance policy.
Or a Didge overdose. In April 2000, he's now 40. He leaves Lehigh Valley Hospital. And in June of that same year, he starts working at St. Luke's Hospital in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. In March of 2001, Charles... You good?
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah,
Okay.
sorry.
In March of 2001, Charles' brother Edmund dies of brain cancer, so he loses another sibling. He's 41 at this point. I think he's the youngest of 8. We're probably looking at about the right time frame here. And June 22nd, you know what? He just brought a bad name to all the Cullens. June 22nd, 2001, he kills Irene Krapf, who was 79. November 8th, 2001, he kills William Park, who was 72. January 9th, 2002, he kills Samuel Spangler, who was 80. On May 5th, 2002, he kills Daniel George, who was 82. On June 2nd, he kills Edward O'Toole, who was 76. All of them with digoxin overdoses. That was a 1-year span right there.
Jeez.
So he killed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 over that year. So about every
And
other
that's all in
month.
the same facility?
This correct. It was all at the St. Luke's Hospital in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania.
And no like suspicion, no nothing.
I think there was suspicion every stop he made. And I think out of all of us, Kolten probably works the closest to a healthcare facility.
Oh yeah, I work in that exact type of place, and I can tell you for sure the unfortunate amount of negligence is disgusting.
Yeah.
So
The fact that might go unnoticed or like just kind of
Swept
maybe
under the
some people
rug.
wouldn't- Yeah,
to me, it seems like
fortunately not surprising.
Yeah, it seems to me like that was kind of a major theme, is that at every hospital, like it would be way too much of a problem for the hospital if it got out that they had a nurse who was fucking killing people. So just move the nurse along and everything should get back to normal.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah. So June 7th of 2002, he resigns from St. Luke's after the hospital's growing suspicions of him. The hospital did not want to get in any legal trouble of their own, so they told him he was to resign, and in return, they will give him neutral reviews. July 8th through July 24th, 2002, he's now 42 years old. He starts working and quits Sacred Heart Hospital in Allentown, Pennsylvania, due to rumors circulating about him. So this job is only 16 days he's there. So the rumors are circulating. They've made it to this other hospital, and he can't.
They're like, oh, we get it. He got neutral reviews. Yeah, that's really negative. But in our industry, it's neutral. We know what that means.
I mean, what
It
is a
means he's
neutral
killing
review? Like on
people.
a scale of 1 to serial killer, what is this guy? And they're like, meh.
Slight killer, maybe.
It's 50-50 at this point. You know?
So he's been
Serial, no. Definitely a 1 or 2, though.
he's been 16 days at Sacred Heart Hospital in Allentown. On September 3rd of 2002, St. Luke's reports probable unprofessional conduct to the Pennsylvania State Nursing Board. So things are starting to kind of get rolling here. There was this badass in this documentary. I believe his name was Stephen Marcus. He was the head of toxicology at the Poison Control Center. So essentially, he's getting a call about a nurse from this hospital is saying, are there any mushrooms or Korean herbs or anything like that that can cause a natural digoxin overdose? Like, we want to know if there's anything that might be showing this false positive. So Stephen Marcus is like, we'll look into it, but I'm telling you, no, like probably not. There's nothing we're going to find that's going to say it is, but we'll look into it for you. So Stephen Marcus is fucking on it from here on out. He follows this thing closely, and we'll catch up to him here soon. So September 8th, 2002, he's 42 years old now. He starts working at Somerset Medical Center in Somerset, New Jersey. This is the last hospital he will ever work at. On September 26th, just 2 weeks into the job, the Pennsylvania State Nursing Board starts an investigation of Cullen's activities while employed at St. Luke's. This is spearheaded by Dr. Stephen Marcus, who was, again, the poison toxicologist who gets called from the Somerset Hospital asking if digoxin may be found naturally occurring plants or mushrooms. January 6th of 2003, an investigation is completed and findings are shared with the police. The investigation was by the nursing board, so nothing came back conclusive. The problem here is Stephen Marcus is building a case. We're in February. By July of this year, he's going to say, this guy is killing people in your hospital. You need to do something. And so they reported him.
We're not gonna arrest him right now.
In November.
Just-
No, I'm serious. I think it was 4 months after it. So we'll kind of get into it a little bit here. So the investigation is completed. The findings are shared with the police. Hey, look, there's some suspicions. We have nothing concrete. We cannot say that he did this or not. So as a celebration, on January 2nd, 2003, he kills Eleanor Stoker, who is 60. On February 23rd, 11 days later, he kills Joyce Mangini at 74. The same day, he kills Giacomo Toto, who is 89. Less than 1 month later, he kills John Shaniger, who is 83. 3 weeks after that, on April 6th, he kills Dorothy Hoagland, who is 80. almost 1 month to the day
He has to think like these people are old. Like they're not gonna know.
Well, hang with me here. On May 5th, he kills Melvin Simcoe, who's 66. On May 15th, he kills Michael Strenko, who is 21.
Oh.
On June
Curveball.
13th, he attempts to kill 40-year-old Jin Kung Han with digoxin. I should mention, let's actually go back up here, because he actually killed John Shaniger with norepinephrine. He killed Dorothy Hoagland with norepinephrine. He killed Melvin Simcoe with sodium nitroprusside. And Michael Strenko with norepinephrine. I think at this point he's just wanting to kill, and the setup is probably not the same as it has been. I mean, we're talking, this is 2003. It's
Right.
Years.
the initial killings are taking place in like 1996, I think.
The drugs have changed.
The drugs have changed. The way that the process has changed. Right. So I think he's just getting what he can. And there are actually suspicions that even earlier in his career, he was spiking saline bags with insulin, like lethal doses of insulin. Mm-hmm. So people were dying when they were getting rehydrated.
Shit.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Rehydrated to death.
Yes. How lovely.
What a way to go.
So he attempted to kill 40-year-old Jin Kung Han with digoxin. On June 28th, 2 weeks after that, he kills Florian Gall, who was 68, with digoxin at Somerset Medical Center. July 13th, he kills Pascal Napolitano, who was 80, with a dobutamine. With dobutamine. And during this month, Dr. Stephen Marcus would employ the police and one of Charles' co-working nurses, and they warned both the hospital and law enforcement of what they believed was going on. So the official warning goes out in mid-July. Okay. So August 11th, 1 month after the official warning, Chris Hardgrove, who is 38, is killed with a norepinephrine overdose. On August 27th, 2 weeks after that, 80-year-old Francis Aguada is also killed with norepinephrine. September 20th, Krishnakt Upadhyay, who is 70, sorry about that, is killed with Dig. On September 23rd, he kills James Strickland, who is 83, with Dig. October 3rd, Somerset Medical Center reports suspicious deaths to the Somerset County Prosecutor's Office. It's kind of starting to come down around him if it hasn't been clear yet. Holy fucking shit. On October 21st, 2003, he is now 43 years old, and he kills Edward Zizik, who is 73, with a digoxin overdose. October 25th, Florian Gall's body is exhumed, and the autopsy revealed that he dies from a deliberate overdose. He was killed 4 months prior to his exhumation. So 4 months, they were able to exhume him and find out that, there's still too much in here. On Halloween of 2003, Cullen is fired from Somerset. New Jersey police request his employment records. In December, Cullen is arrested and taken to Somerset County Jail. Now, in the documentary, he had this, I want to say her name is Amy. I'm not even going to guess. Her name's Amy. That was the co-working nurse we talked about that the police employed to give a hand with the case. And essentially, she wore a wire for the police. She was his friend and confidant, but she knew that what he was doing wasn't right. So there's one, and I didn't hear the actual audio, but I saw the dramatic reenactment. But it was from the transcript of the audio. Okay. So they just read it as it happened. And she's essentially saying, I know you did it. You know you did it. They know you did it right now. Like they're at a restaurant. They say, let's leave together and go turn yourself in. And he said, you might think you know I did it, but I'm not turning myself in. I'm going down with a fight. So he, as mild-mannered, as we've seen him be for all this time, and he's killed 40 people, and he's just getting looked at 16 years later,
He's trying to reach that 50,
He's got this
milestones.
very easy to forget persona, and I think that helped him complete his ultimate goal. In his 60 Minutes interview, he's not really so much mocking the hospitals as more as being saying, after my first one, I should not have had a medical license. They should have taken it away. Why was I allowed to continue to do this? And then this next hospital and the next one. And he kind of breaks it. And it's no excuse. He fucking killed people and he knows what he did. Even though he won't say that he knows what he did. He knows. Yeah, sorry. So he's arrested and taken to Somerset County Jail. On December 14th, 2003, he tells police and poison control agents during an interrogation that he has administered between 30 and 40 lethal drug injections during his 16-year career as a nurse. So he's averaging 2.4 a year. On December 15th, he's charged with the murder of Gall and attempted murder of Hahn. December 17th, 2003, he's transferred to Trenton State Psychiatric Hospital. And on the same day, he surrenders his New Jersey nursing license officially. Question number 9, true or false? Cullen will eventually help with the investigation to get a more lenient term. Is he going to help for a more lenient term? True or false? What you think, Kolten?
I'm going to say no.
We got 1 true from Casey, 2 falses from Robbie and Kolten. And Robbie and Kolten are going to score points. Robbie's got 1250. Colton's got 1,000.
Colton just took it.
He's not going down without a fight.
Robbie has got the lead. Kolten is down by 250. And Casey has been officially eliminated from winning this episode of the Serial Chillers
I am
podcast.
no longer batting 500.
Woo! Falling
Bye,
below
Casey.
500, huh? Well, hang around and play a little more of
Hang
the
around.
Serial Chillers podcast.
I mean, you might as well.
So on December 18th of 2003, Cullen's public defender announces that his client will not help with the investigation unless authorities agree to not to seek the death penalty. January 6th of 2004, Cullen returns to Somerset County Jail from the psychiatric hold. On April 29th of 2004, he pleads guilty to murder of 13 patients and attempted murder of 2 patients at the Somerset Medical Center. On May 19th of the same year, he pleads guilty to murdering 3 people at Warren Hospital. And on October 7th, he pleads guilty to murdering Audemars Schramm at Easton Hospital. 1 week later, he's charged with 6 more murder charges in Lehigh County. And in November 17th, he pleads guilty to the murder of 5 patients at St. Luke's, as well as 1 murder and 3 attempted murders at Lehigh Valley Hospital. On December 16th of 2004, he pleads guilty to the 1988 murder, his very first, of John Yango. March of 2005, government launches an investigation of the hospitals where Cullen worked to see if federal laws were broken by failure to act more promptly with Cullen. In June of 2005, Cullen pleads guilty to 5 murders committed at Hunterdon Medical Center, and the press releases that Cullen wants to donate his kidney to a relative of an ex-girlfriend.
Such a humanitarian.
Right.
He's
Euthanasia.
He's redeemed himself.
Organ donations.
Right. You still there, Colton?
I'm here.
Oh, okay, cool. We can't see you, but as long as we can hear you.
He's just like a Jack Kevorkian. Right?
Yeah, I mean, you're not that far off. And I was thinking of Kevorkian when I did this.
Like how many? It would be interesting to know how many of the patients were like, "Just put me out of my misery." Just you know what I mean? Like, just let it happen.
But here's my problem, though, is that at no point, and maybe he's such a stand-up guy that he'll never say, but at no point does he ever say, like, these people were asking to die. Right. And some of them were 21 and 31 and, like, due for release, and were getting their one last dose of medicine before they left, and suddenly took a turn for the worse. So, good point. My counter is that he never once uses that as a defense. For being someone who's mildly intelligent and obviously has a very wide knowledge of at least this field, he is the worst bullshitter you'll ever see in your life. You know, because when they ask him a question that kind of sticks them, instead of like sitting back and thinking about it, he'll be like, well, so it's like,
spit it out.
Right. Exactly. You're like, dude, get it out. Like, just tell us, what are you doing here? Or sit back and relax and gather your thoughts. But yeah, he was not good at even telling a lie. So I don't know what he thought he was going to do once he did get caught, but it didn't go well for him. So anyways, so he gives the kidney. Oh, he wants to donate the kidney. The press releases that Cullen has stopped cooperating with investigators' demands to be sentenced so he can be free to proceed with the transplant operation if permitted. March 2nd of 2006, Cullen has a final court hearing, which is going to be all of the impact statements from the families that decided they want to come in and speak. So Cullen is confronted by family members of victims and sentenced to 11 consecutive life terms for the murder of 22 and the attempted murder of 3 in New Jersey. The last question. Kolten, if you get this and Robbie misses it, you're going to tie him.
Oh, God.
Robbie, if you get it, you win. Casey,
I'm out.
if you answer it and get it, though, because it's the closest to the answer, you will prevent Kolten from winning.
All right.
So, Colt, your real only move is defense here. Kolten?
I'm like a 9 seed. Like, I'm going to be able to upset somebody.
Yeah. Kolten, you're just going to need to get this to tie it up, and I'll think of a tiebreaker. I won't let you guys leave here in a tie. After how many
Lightning
years?
artistic challenge.
Ooh. After how many years will Charles Cullen be eligible for parole? After how many years will Charles Cullen be eligible for parole?
Wow. I'm going to say 8.
Kolten says 8. Robbie says 100. Casey says 120. And I say defense. Because Charles Cullen will not be able to apply for parole for 397 years. Casey's got a defense there, scores an additional 250 to tie Kolten for that 1,002nd place. But Robbie, congratulations with 1,250 points. You will be today's winner of the Serial Chillers podcast.
Thank you.
Now
Thank you.
you're batting 500.
My wife said I couldn't come home if I didn't win, so we're good to go.
Good thing here then, because you can't stay here either. So he's not going to be eligible for parole for 397 years. And on March 10th, 2006, he was brought into the courtroom of Lehigh County President Judge William H. Platt for a sentencing hearing. Cullen was upset with the judge and kept repeating, "Your Honor, you need to step down," for 30 minutes until Platt had Cullen gagged with cloth and duct tape. Even after being gagged, Cullen continued to try to repeat the phrase. In this hearing, Platt gave him an additional 6 life sentences. So this was the Pennsylvania, so I should say that. All those were New Jersey. These are the Pennsylvania crimes. So 6 more life sentences. As part of his plea agreement, Cullen has been working with law enforcement officials to identify additional victims. Cullen originally told authorities about 40 patients he could specifically recall during the course of his 16-year nursing career. On March 18th of 2006, a press release that a New Jersey judge has agreed to allow Cullen to donate his kidney. That's it on Charles Cullen,
Redeeming
guys.
quality right there.
Hey, consciousness does not flow through kidneys. You're not just a serial killer because you got a serial
According
killer's
to who?
kidney.
That's just a theory.
According to who?
It's just a theory.
It's just a theory. Colton knows about theories.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Okay.
I mean, you know about flat Earth theories.
Oh my gosh.
Never heard of him. Sorry.
He's not familiar.
Well, you guys got anything you want to throw out there here at the end before we finish it all up? Casey?
Yes, BIGGFOOT Designs Instagram.
Yeah.
Come buy something.
Yeah, go buy lots of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
do
won't say
it.
no to that.
Robbie, anything you want to throw out there?
Yeah, I want to plug San Joaquin Running on Instagram. Please check them out.
Since Nate forgot
Since
to
they
last
didn't
time.
do that, please check them out.
San Joaquin Running.
You now owe Robbie $120.
We asked Nate to be here last night, and he said, "Hey, listen, that wasn't that fun." So
No. He had fun. I think he was more depressed about it.
it was too depressing.
death.
Colton, anything you want to throw out there tonight before we finish up?
Yeah, just a quick website plug. I would say everybody go to serialchillerspodcast.threadless.com and buy a shirt or a sweatshirt, or you fucking suck if you don't.
And the PayPal checkout is working now, right, Colton?
Correct, sir. I just checked out.
Perfect.
So, yeah.
So that's
It
up and
works.
running, and I appreciate you advertising for me.
You can also find his
Absolutely.
clothing line at
they
Harold's
fit
Board
well.
Shop.
And co-host Greg, what say you? Is there anything you'd like to sign off with here tonight?
No.
Well, thank you, Greg, for coming in for half an episode and having nothing to say at the end. I appreciate you.
I didn't contribute a single thing. I sat here and browsed the internet, looked at questionable things online.
Thank you, Kolten, for coming all the way from San Diego. Thank you
very much.
Robbie and Casey, for rolling into the studio again. And thank you, everybody, for listening to episode 36 of the Serial Chillers podcast. Oh, yeah. Everybody, that was episode 36, and thank you guys so much for sticking with us. Charles Cullen took trust that was put into him by patients, and he took advantage of that. This is one of the situations when I get especially angered, because in most cases people have not put faith or trust into the killer that killed them. In this case, every single one of them did that for Charles Cullen, so he was given the benefit of the doubt. So I think he's an extra super fucking asshole. Big congrats again to Robbie on his win. I'm glad you get to go home to your wife after this one. Casey is on a losing streak, so we're going to have to get him in soon to see if we can't take down a victory. The Bigfoot needs a little redemption. If you have any suggestions or corrections or anything for the show, or if you just want to even just reach out to say, hey, please do it. There are tons of ways you can. The Facebook page is Serial Chillers Podcast. The Facebook group is up and running. We haven't got the ball rolling heavily on that. I know it's we're going to call it a slow burn, and we're going to get there. The Instagram is at Serial Chillers Podcast. Twitter is at Chillers Podcast. The email is serialchillerspodcast@gmail.com. You can call or text me at 1-805-666-2513. It's a real number. People have messaged me asking if it were a real number. Just text it and ask. I will respond from it. You can also get merch, t-shirts, water bottles, notebooks, bunch of crazy little things at serialchillerspodcast.threadless.com. And again, for anybody who likes to read kind of what I put together as far as an outline or see any of those sources, you can just find all of those at serialchillerspodcast.com. And at the bottom of the page, the newest episode will always be available there as well. Patreon.com. I've said it a million times before, but if you'd like to help the show at all, you can do that, and this is the best way to do it, because you can give as little as $1 a month for as little as 1 month. It's just a way for you, if you like the show and want to give anything in support of that, you can do it, and it's the easiest possible way, so thanks a lot for that. Research for today's episode came from a YouTube documentary called The Angel of Death Serial Killer, Charles Cullen. The Wikipedia for Charles Cullen, Charles Cullen's Murderpedia, a Radford University timeline, which was researched and put together by Jennifer Hash, and a long New York Times article. Again, all of those are linked on serialchillerspodcast.com. Just want to give a big thank you to everybody who's been supporting the show lately and giving feedback and helping out a lot. We had an extra awful review on Facebook earlier this week, and it doesn't hurt so much because it's been outweighed by so many of you guys reaching out and telling us that we're doing a good job. Co-host Greg and I work hard. This may not be our main source of life or income or anything like that, but we do love it, and we do try to put a great finished product out there for you. So if there's anything we can do to make that better for you, please let us know. And other than that, remember, don't talk to strangers.